Almond butter is a delicious plant-based source of proteins and healthy fats, and while you can certainly buy it at the grocery store, there is nothing quite like homemade. Plus, I think you guys are gonna be really surprised to see just how easy it is to make yourself. All you're gonna need are some almonds and a food processor. And if you like your almond butter salted, you're gonna want a little kosher sea salt as well. Now I have 3 cups of raw organic almonds spread out on a rimmed baking sheet, and I'm gonna pop these into a 250-degree oven for about 15 minutes. I have found that when you're making the almond butter, if you work with warmed almonds, it actually helps them break down a little bit faster. And I think that's because when they're warm, the oils release more easily. Plus, I like when they get that deep roasted flavor. Now, if you were already starting with roasted almonds, then you would just pop them in the oven for about 8 or 10 minutes until they have warmed all the way through. Once I've got them heated through and they have a nice golden brown color, I'm just gonna transfer these into my food processor, pop on the lid, and then I like to start them with a few pulses just to break the almonds down. And then I just put it on and let it begin to blend. From here, most of the dirty work is gonna be happening in the food process. Now, this whole process is gonna take about 15 to 20 minutes. So what you wanna keep in mind is number 1, keep an eye on your food processor because you just wanna make sure that it doesn't get too hot so that it doesn't overheat. Now, mind you, this has never happened to me personally, but it's just something to keep in mind. And number 2, every now and then you're gonna wanna shut it off and scrape down the sides if you see the almonds starting to stick to the sides, right? This is also a good time if you wanted to give your food processor a break, just wait a minute or 2 before you turn it back on. Now, at first, your almonds are gonna look like almond meal, almost like an almond flour, just like this. Then you're gonna begin to notice that it starts to come together a little bit more. It's gonna start sticking to the sides. You're gonna scrape it down. Then you're gonna notice that it's gonna start to form into a ball. And this is when I like to add the salt. So if you like salted almond butter, I like to add a ½ teaspoon of kosher sea salt. Get that in, break it up, pop the lid back on, and one last round, and you are gonna have this creamy, smooth, delicious, beautiful, homemade almond butter. Check that out. Now, from here, your almond butter is ready to be stored. And I find the best way to store it is in some type of airtight container. In my opinion, a mason jar is the perfect container to use. You could also use an old nut butter jar that you just rinsed out and are ready to use again. So transfer the almond butter into your jars. Pop the lids on. And you're gonna see this makes about 1½ cups of almond butter, and the way to get the most life out of it is to store it in the fridge. This almond butter will last you up to a month in your fridge. You have to remember that almonds are very sensitive. The oils in the almonds can actually go rancid. So keeping it in a nice, cool, dark place is the best way to get the most shelf life out of your almond butter. Then you will have fresh homemade almond butter waiting for you whenever you're ready. You could stir a little bit into your oatmeal, put it on your morning toast, mix it into your yogurt, put it on top of some fresh fruits like apples or bananas. The options are truly endless. Or you can make my brownies or my cookies. So many options, guys. You have got to get in the kitchen and try to make your own almond butter. It is mind-blowingly delicious. It's so rich and creamy. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and share this video with anybody else you know who's ready to get excited about homemade almond butter. I'm Danny Spies. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you back here next time with some more clean and deliciousness. Cheers! Almond butter is a delicious plant-based source of healthy fat. Almond butter is a delicious plant-based source of healthy fats and proteins. Almond butter is a delicious source of healthy proteins and fats. I just forgot, that's all. 1, 2, 3. Almond butter is a delicious plant-based source of healthy protein and fats. And while you, what? Almond butter is a 1, 2, 3. Almond butter is a delicious source of 1, 2, 3. Almond butter is a delicious source, plant-based source